Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. My guest, Destiny Firestack, is here, and I am super excited to speak with her, and you are going to love what she's going to say. So, Destiny, take it away.
Hello, thanks for having me on your show. I'm really excited to just share everything. My name is Destiny Firestack, and I am a former hairdresser, actually in the beauty industry for 5 years. And I live in Alaska, so very kind of, remote, small community vibes. And now my focus is on helping hairdressers grow. And I really believe that all of this, like anybody can take away from. So, yeah, I am a trauma and nervous system informed coach. Focus on growth, focus on um, a lot of healing, aspects obviously are in there, but just really helping people grow their businesses and themselves as humans with through a trauma informed lens. So just the approach is definitely more holistic and more focused on the body and the human behind the business rather than just business. So,
So, explain trauma informed nervous system coach,
so
like for people that,
don't
don't
really
know.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what it means to be trauma and nervous system informed is that you are a coach that has the ability, well, I mean, even just erase the word coach, you're a human that has the ability to help somebody through a lens that someone else might not have. Having the lens of trauma informed is a different interpretation of something. When someone comes to me and says, I'm having a really bad day, or I'm not making enough money, or XYZ, the lens on how that's being interpreted is different. I understand how the body reacts to stress. I understand how your nervous system reacts to stress and how that shows up in daily behaviors and how that shows up in how we handle things like our money or our life or our relationships or our business. But really understanding that it comes from everyone has what's called a somatic imprint, and traumatic imprints are deep, deep, deep embedded parts of us that show up in these things that they're kind of the invisible parts of us that we don't see, that are playing a role in contributing to the conflicts or the problems or whatever's going on that you're needing the help with. But understanding it from a trauma informed lens is this isn't necessarily you just having a bad day. This is something that could be deeper that let's get into that a little bit more. And let's, maybe you're like, I don't know why I keep self-sabotaging. Well, it's not that you need to just set yourself a new daily routine. Like it's more of let's get into why you keep self-sabotaging and where that could be
Yes.
potentially coming from. We can go way back. It can be, so it's more about understanding how your body is responding to a situation that has happened to you in the past or what's currently happening and how that's going to play a role in your habits and personality traits and behaviors today.
Oh, that's powerful. That is powerful. And what guided you to do this work?
So I'm super upfront. I tell everybody, like, I live with complex PTSD and I understand that life. I understand what it's like to feel like you're kind of just floating, like you're two people. And kind of like that feeling of disembodiment versus embodiment. I didn't even know what that meant. And so long story short, I had this long life of just growing up without my mom, and my parents were divorced, and I was in and out of a lot of abusive relationships. And truthfully, the the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when my current husband, who is my best friend, he left for some work stuff that he was doing. And for me, it was this is going to trigger a lot of abandonment trauma and I don't want to face this. And leaning into that, it was more of, when he's gone doing work for the military, it's high stress training and high stress stuff. And he's the strongest person I know. And for me, him leaving was the first time I ever had to really face myself by myself. And it was absolutely terrifying. but it was stuff that I avoided my entire life, and I knew it was coming, it was creeping, and I'm like, I just I don't want to. This is scary. I don't want to get into this.
Yes.
Just pretend it's
Yes.
not happening. And that's disembodiment. And so living a lot of like you might hear of disassociation like cognitively, but when it comes to the soma and the body, it's actually like what I tell people is the that feeling like that abandonment trauma being triggered, right? Like I would think about him leaving and I could feel my body just being triggered,
Yes.
a body reacting to that feeling. And so essentially, I had to be embodied to be able to feel safe with him being gone and
Mm.
understanding what that even looked like. Like, how do what is that? I didn't have any model for that. I didn't, and I had to figure it out on my own. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is time. This is the universe. And all the things are telling me, like, you can't keep running. And so, my whole life of being a runner, from running away from home when I was 14, I'm a high school dropout. I share that stuff because it was my life. And so, I struggled a long time with a lot of stuff and it was just my time to face things. And so now, after going through like this, it was like a 6 month long cocoon phase of building myself, but breaking, like, I'm kind of breaking myself down, dissecting, going through parts of me. And I got into like my spiritual woo more. I connected with myself. I was making the unconscious conscious. That's a huge part of my approach of embodiment practice with working with business owners, because as long as we are suppressing the unconscious and we're not allowing that to come through so you can adopt that into your life,
Yes.
you're going to continuously be where you are. And it's no amount of strategies and money and all these things is gonna solve that internal. So that was for me the moment where I knew I always wanted to coach in some way, but I didn't know in what way at all. I
Right.
just knew I was like a natural leader my whole life. I helped raise my brothers. I was always leading. I've always led other people. I've done it my whole life. But it just was like, well, how do I do this like professionally, right? And so I think getting into that and me going through the darkest, I thought I had been through the darkest phases of my life. If you sit with yourself for 5 to 6 months in your house with just four walls and just you, it it's different.
Yes.
It's just different. I can't explain it. And it's something for me was my personal journey of figuring out who the hell I am, who I want to be, who I don't want to be. And when I started getting trained on the nervous system and being trauma informed, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing my whole life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what everybody needs this. I was like this is something that is going to change people. It changed my life. It changed my life. There's no timeline for that, but I know in that time frame it changed my life. And thinking back to all the things that I was like hustling behind the chair and I was making all this money and I was like, "Oh, I'm successful and I'm buying my dream car and I'm making a name for myself and all this stuff." But at the end of the day, I was still struggling. Those parts of me were still living deep in there. I wasn't
Right.
really, really successful. I was just thinking I was because I had all this external stuff.
Right.
And
And
so,
the
yeah,
shadows.
yeah,
Yeah.
was all the shadow work that I was doing and all of the unconscious, suppression, bringing that all out. And so I was like, you know what? If I was able to have this when I was behind the chair, I probably wouldn't have burnt out the way that I did. I probably wouldn't have needed to quit and take a step back because
Yes.
everyone is like, you're an because I was educating color, I was educating balayage, like I was teaching I was like really climbing that ladder in the industry, and then I just halted, stopped, and everyone, is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't keep going. I need to this. Everyone's like, what are you doing? You're throwing this away. Like, no one gets these opportunities. This color company reached out to you, who's like really big and famous, and they want you and all this, and I'm like, you know what? My mental health was more important, and
Yes.
I couldn't do it anymore. There's no so for me, that was when I was like, if I had these tools and I knew what what my operating from a deregulated nervous system, what that looks like in running a business, having that manic and chaotic, kind of personality with hustle, 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 because that's what we're taught in
Yes.
the culture of society.
Yes.
Everything is you're rewarded from the neck up. Everything is cognitive in the society of money and business, and I
Hmm.
just don't believe in that anymore. And so I'm kind of like I got to that point where I was like, that's it. I'm going to build a program, and I did. And I spent a lot of time just w- building this program based on my own experience. And so far, I've been able to help women with it in the industry. And I've been not only just help, but like the type of change and transformation that I'm seeing coming from these women, they weren't even expecting it. And
Awesome.
there's no expectation, but it's just, they're like, this is different. Every industry has their gurus and everything, and I'm different. I know I'm different, but the approach is different. But I think it's something that, takes a little bit to like warm up to, like, okay, I can be successful without having my face just, in my books of my numbers and all these things. And like, you don't need, I kind of lead without that. I'm like, you don't really need all of that. All you need is it's already in you. You really, and it sounds so cheesy, but it's true.
Right.
But
Things inside of you.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. And that is, to me, that's a powerful journey that you take these ladies on. And I mean, and to think that you are affecting the beauty industry, in that way, because, you really wouldn't even think that. I mean, that was actually something that I was excited about when I read that you were doing this kind of work helping people in the beauty industry, because people don't think that, you know, I guess I don't know, I guess people are not like they don't think that there's a high degree of burnout in that industry. I think that, from the outside, people from the
Hmm.
outside, I'm saying,
Yeah.
because I get the same thing with the medical field. They're like, why you don't want to do that? You don't want no, no,
Yeah.
I cannot do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm no, no.
Big
But
part
take
of,
money and you can blah 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 and you
yeah.
can do that and you don't have to do it that way. You can blah 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 and you can do blah, blah. And I'm
Yep.
like, no.
No. No. And I understand that because the beauty industry, I will say, is I have never seen, I did a lot of like my prior work to that, honestly, was very, I worked for banks, I did lots of sales. I've been on both, I'm a creative. That's why like I entered the beauty industry, being creative, right? And we all enter with that mindset of I just want to be creative, but I want to make money doing it. That's why we want to make people feel beautiful and we want to make money doing it. That's
Yes.
bottom line why people join the beauty industry is to
Mhm.
make people feel beautiful. But the biggest issue that I've seen is the fact that the way that I think beauty is perceived in the industry, for one, there's a lot of issues within that itself. And that affects a lot of not only the mental health of people in the industry, but it actually affects the way that people can grow in the industry. And we are thankfully finally like leading towards a more inclusive and diverse industry, especially with it making salons. That's a huge part of what I believe in, is just also making sure people know how to hold space for themselves and feel safe, and then making sure that their environment for them around them is safe as well. And that, if you're somebody who's looking for a more, diverse and inclusive salon to be in, it's important to know that holding space for yourself first has to be the first step before you can figure out where it is you're meant to go. And then I think that just knowing what your mission is important, but then the beauty industry is definitely, it is probably one of the most toxic industries I've ever been in. And I openly say that. And it's not, blaming the industry. It's just that's just what it is. Like the
I
culture.
don't know about that because I think the same thing about medical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nurses eat their
Yeah.
damn young.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's terrible.
Everything seems to be like a popularity contest at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's who do you know and who's most popular. And it's especially with the beauty industry, a big part of it is A lot of the women that come to me and ask for help, they lack confidence, and the number one thing they tell me is they compare themselves on social media. One thing to know about our industry is everything is driven by social media. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you do the greatest work behind the chair. If you don't post it, nobody sees it, no one cares. That's that's the way that is, right? So if you want to build, that's what you have to do. And it's harsh. Instagram is harsh. Those things are harsh. And so,
Yeah.
but that's the biggest thing is I teach people is that you don't, if you were posting for you rather than posting for the likes and the followers, you would see that growth. You would see yourself explode. Like, so just kind of getting into, it's not that you need a new strategy, it's that you need to
Hmm.
just look within more. It's you don't need another Instagram strategy. You don't need another business strategy. Like you don't, I'm all that stuff's made up anyways. Like
Yeah, you
business is
need to
all
go
made up.
within.
You,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
is unique to you, right? Like it's this isn't about popularity and who's gonna have 100,000 followers and who's got the most beautiful salon and the most beautifully curated Instagram. Like that stuff's not success. It's not. It's a
mm-mm.
portrayal of a life that leads to a lot of
Well, it's a lot of people that are, killing themselves
yeah.
behind bullshit now. I mean,
Mhm.
really, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is driven by that. They're looking at social media and, oh, well, I don't have as many followers as this one. This one has 100,000. I only have 20,000 or whatever, or I need to be, this person instead of being myself. And
Yep.
it's a lot of guru worship out there. And that's
Yep.
something I wanted to ask
Mhm.
you about as well. It seems to be a lot of guru worship, and everybody wants to either find a guru, be a guru, worship a guru. And I think that's toxic.
It's so toxic. It's
It's not
terrible. I did that for so long in my industry, and that's what led to my burnout of me just going, hands up, I'm done because it was there was this, there's people you look up to in your industry. If you're really passionate, whatever it is you're doing, there's always going to be a guru that you're like, oh, I want to be just like them one day, right? And
right.
be thinking that way, having that disembodied type way of life of focusing on being somebody else, and it's just it oh gosh, it led me down so many dark paths of just like, who am I? What am I even doing? Do I even want to do this? Like the passion itself doesn't even matter. It's just trying to make it to be the next best thing online or try to make it to be the next best thing within your community or whatever it is. And I'm not saying don't strive for that stuff, but it's
Right,
just
right.
how are we going about it? That's what's different because being a guru, I tell everybody I'm not a guru in any way, and I don't ever want to be a guru because there's a I don't really believe that there's one person that can just, you know, do all that for everybody. I don't really believe in worshiping other people. I don't really like that. It's something personally, like my opinion, like I think it's really toxic. And I
It
think
is.
it's a disservice to yourself. I think it's the whole system, like the hierarchy and all that,
The
and especially in the
patriarchy.
yeah, especially in the industry, it's
Yes.
it's very unfortunate, but it's really it exists a lot, and it's what prevents a lot of
Yes.
people from stepping out of their own bubble and they're too scared to jump out there because,
Yeah.
you know, of what all the popular people over here, I use the word popular, but that's just on Instagram, right? It's like all the people with the most over here are doing all these amazing things.
Hmm.
Somebody over here who has a lot of talent and has something to show, but isn't a part of that, you're never going to
It's
see
it
them.
it's like high school, like
It
cliquish.
is.
It's like I always say, and this is what I say to myself, I say I am my own guru,
Hmm.
and I'm like, not doing all that. And it's like it's so rampant. It's like everybody, oh, if you're not following this person or you're not, and I'm like, no, 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 because Spirit said something to me last year this time. Don't look at the numbers. Stop looking at the numbers. Because I do a lot of lives. Because I prefer to do a live than a post. But I
Yeah.
do a lot of lives and I do a lot of TikToks and YouTube shorts and stuff because I'm building my channel. And I do a lot of those things, and because you can do a TikTok and you can put that on YouTube and you can put it on Instagram and Facebook and all those places and the reels. And that way you just have to record shit once, however many times you do it,
Yep.
and not have to be uploading it here and all this kind of stuff, so I've been doing a lot of that stuff. And so spirit was like so clear. It came like, boom, don't look at the numbers. So I stopped because, you look at the numbers of people watching you and you're doing your live and, you don't see anybody on there. There's no comment.
Yeah, you're like, why am I doing this?
Like I'm
Yeah,
talking to myself.
talking to myself. Yep.
But when spirit said that to me, it changed something for me. Then I started speaking. And then, what I realized why it happened, because after that, my Facebook page was stolen. Stolen.
Oh,
Yeah, stolen. Girl, they're still running scams on it. And
oh my
Instagram
God.
wouldn't even give me my name back. They wouldn't let me get my name back. They took my page. So I was like, okay. But
Okay.
so I realized, I was like, okay. And so, of course, so I was like, all right. And I was actually going to get off all these platforms because I was so damn disgusted. And I was like, okay, no. And so the spirit was like, no, just take this as a reset. And I did, you know. And then I started just talking, and spirit was like, just speak. And so I just speak, my truth. Just speak and just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And I heard the spirit was like, shine your light. People are going to come because they're going to see your light. And so that's what I've been doing. So I don't care if there's nobody watching. Like I have a live when we get off of here. I have a live this afternoon. I don't care. I was like, I'm at this place where I'm speaking like I'm speaking to the world whenever I speak. So I'm not looking at the numbers. I don't care how many people are watching. I don't care how many people have watched. I know that the right people are going to see, what I have that's for them.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's amazing. And that's a part of like my own journey as well, is just kind of not focusing on the numbers, not focusing on the variables and all these things that,
Right.
it takes away from the purpose of what you're doing. And so I think there was one time, like you said, like a live, I was doing an Instagram live, and I was like, you know what? I have a message. I just need to get it out there. I don't care who sees it. Like if no one sees it, I'll just talk to myself. But I was talking as if I was just talking to myself, like I was talking to the world. And I looked down and I had all these people watching, and I was like, oh no. Like I was like, oh my gosh, there's people watching. And
Right.
it's like, oh, and then they stayed. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
great. And then it led to just more communications outside of that. Like they contacted
Yes.
me. It was just like, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much just even for saying that. I needed that. And maybe that's
Yes.
all it needed to be. It doesn't need to always be like, that's the one thing with the coaching industry, is everything needs to lead to a sale. And it was like, no, it doesn't. I don't believe that. It's not, it doesn't. Sometimes people just need to hear a message. And if I put that message out there, then why does it matter where it came from and who benefited out of it? It's just, my purpose is to make sure that you're benefiting out of this. This is not,
Yes.
I don't lead with what am I getting out of it. I lead with,
Yes.
this is for you. I want you to have this, and take
Yes.
this if it resonates, and if not, that's okay.
Yes. I agree. And that it's, but it feels so good because for
Yeah.
me, I decided that when I started my business, I wanted it to be fun
Yeah.
because I already did work all my life. I've been working since I was 14 years old and I'm 54. So 50 years I've been working. And I'm like, I already did work. I've done work, just go to jobs because I need a job, or gotta pay these bills or whatever. And I was like, I already did that in my life. I was like, I want to have fun. So like I started making Reiki infused jewelry. Like
Yes.
these, right? I made those.
Oh my
I
gosh.
started doing that, and that's just fun. Like I just love to do it. I mean, I could just be
Yes.
sitting down with my husband because he loves to watch Netflix. So sitting down and watching Netflix, I'm making jewelry while he's doing that or whatever, and it's just fun. And I started doing it, and then I went to some of these fairs, and girls started selling jewelry, and I was like, wow,
Yep.
wow,
Yes.
you
Reiki
know,
infused
and
jewelry. That's amazing.
and people were going. My mom goes, well, do you have a Etsy shop? I was like, no, I do not.
No.
I said, I keep thinking about it. I said, but then I keep thinking, woo, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. That's a
Because
lot.
I was like, I was like, I did an Etsy shop one time before, and that thing was so much work, and it didn't produce nothing. So I was like,
Yep.
no, I'm not gonna do that. No. I was like, well, I'll figure out another way.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And then I actually like posted it one day, and I had a young lady reach out to me and said, "You still have those earrings? Because I want them." I said, "Yes, I do." So I sold something like that. It was like, okay. And that was like not something that, I had put on my list of things I wanted to do.
Yep.
It just kind of showed up, because I already made jewelry anyway. I used to always make it, and I already made it. And all of a sudden, I had people that were interested in it, and I was like, okay. And then when I went to the fair, the festivals, I mean, the what do you call them? You know,
Um, like the
markets.
marketplace, like the flea markets or like the, yeah.
Yeah, they have like a metaphysical market here, and
Okay.
and MeWe does some things here, and so I did a few of those, and I was like, okay, this is a lot of fun, and I'm like, yeah, I could do this, and then I also did like some healing work in one of them, which was
Mm.
amazing. Yeah, I was like, this is so cool. I was like, I could do this, but it's fun for me, and that was the point of the story. And so what I want to know from you is what's fun for you?
Oh, what's fun for me, honestly,
Yeah,
a lot of my fun has to happen in the summertime because
of
I'm not a
course.
winter person.
And you
But
live in Alaska.
I know. Yeah. What is fun for me personally is I really like playing like, okay, so I'm really all about family time for one. Family has to be like, but my thing personally, I really like I'm creating this like clothing boutique online for fun. It's not I don't know what's gonna happen with this thing. I don't know if it's
Right.
even gonna do it, but I'm building it for fun. I love being able to anything that gets the creativity flowing for me. That's my fun. Anything that's creative, like for you, like you said, like making jewelry, and I like repurposing furniture. I like,
That's too
um,
cool.
yeah, I like doing that kind of stuff. I like if it's painting or if it's, like I'm really into fashion. I love fashion. That's my thing. It's fun for me. I'll sit and I'll just add things to this boutique that I don't even know what I'm doing with it. And I'm like, I'm gonna sell this. This looks cute. I'm gonna sell this. That's cute. I would wear that. That's cute. That's my fun. Honestly, that's my fun for me. And I love just I like doing something that I don't have to expect anything out of. I don't want to expect anything out of anything. I just want to do something that lights the creativity up, especially being like a manifestor generator or maybe projector, I don't know. But I think, yeah, I have to do it satisfies me in that moment
Yeah.
and go, okay, like what just like lights me up. So I love camping, honestly, being out in the woods, being out, especially in Alaska, being out in the peace and quiet with no phone service. That's my fun. But in the winter time, I have to like look for other things. So shopping and no, I'm just kidding. Shopping gets me in
Right.
trouble. But I think painting and repurposing furniture, I think those are like my two biggest things that are a lot of fun for me to just kind of get my hands. I want to get into pottery. I want
Oh,
to get into
neat.
I want to get into that. I started speaking on Reiki. I started practicing Reiki and I got my I went through a thing to get I'm a practitioner for, I can do it on people and all that stuff. And that's fun, but I don't want to do it for work, but it's like it's fun. Like I'll do it. But
I
yeah,
just say it's a tool that I have in my toolkit.
yep.
I don't typically say that that's what I do. I say that I do intuitive healing because it's all kinds of stuff that
Yeah.
came from some other place and some other time that I know how to do.
Yep.
And I just do it and it just flows through. And that's how I do that.
Yeah.
But I had to get comfortable with that, because how we do these modalities, and they're like, oh, well, you have to do it like this, and you have to say this thing, and you have to do the chakra, and all these
Yep. Yep.
things. And I couldn't remember all them damn symbols and stuff. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna do it with intention. And because like I said, I am a Reiki master, but I have some other modalities that I've done, and I kind of pull from all of them. Like I love color healing.
Okay.
That is amazing. amazing. And it works
Oh,
every time. Like I did a session on a young lady and she was dealing with PCOS. And so she wanted to do the session before she went to get in vitro. And so we did the session and she said, "Oh my God." She said, "I can feel my ovaries."
dang.
She said it's like this heat, you know. She said,
Wow.
"My ovary." I was like, "That's what I'm talking about." But it was just
Yeah.
amazing. It's
That's
just amazing. And that I love that. I
that's
love,
awesome.
yeah, I mean people just get these, oh my God, and it's yeah. So anyway, that's my joy. What do you see for your business in the future? Like, what is your direction for where you're going?
I really do believe that the direction, I will say, is definitely always, I mean, the beauty industry, I think, is where I want to keep taking it, but I think it can go beyond that. I really do. I think this is something any human can benefit from. But personally, I would like to, like, I want to hold retreats. I want to go travel and speak and share messages across the world. Like, I want to take it to like a really big level where I'm able to reach more people and but do it in a, I think it's like this isn't necessarily something in itself that I think is the program I currently have is not the end all be all. I want to create something for everybody that anybody can get their hands on. But I really do think that I have a, like you said earlier, like, spirit tells you stuff. I have this weird feeling and this weird intention that I am meant to help build salons up and internally. And I keep getting this weird push in that direction. And I'm like, no, I don't want to, what is this? And then I had a salon owner reach out and now that's what I'm doing is like helping her team. Like she's like, I need help with my stylist, like XYZ or whatever. And that's where I'm like in now and I'm in that and that's I'm managing like just the salon to kind of help with things, but it's interesting because it's like I didn't expect this to happen and
Hmm.
then I find myself more and more gravitating towards making sure that salons have safe, thriving, happy environments, but that each stylist is able to thrive. And I think that working with embodiment practice, I think I'm taking it in that direction and I'm just kind of going with that flow. But I think if I can put myself, I want to be able to make carbon copies of myself and put me in every single salon I can, right? And help like and like really travel to help people that like come to a salon and spend
So
X amount of weeks or something somewhere and just help, locations or
I was going to say, so do you think that maybe that you will create a like a certification
I
for
would like
people
to.
to do what you do so that
I
you
would
can clone yourself?
I would like to. I definitely would like to. I think that I thought about that. And right now I'm not really quite sure even where I would begin with that because I've thought about it and my husband brought that up. And because he's like, you can't be everywhere at once. And I'm like, yeah, but how do I how do I clone myself?
It'll
You
come to
know?
you.
Yeah. And
It'll
so
show
that's
up.
where I definitely want to create something that other people can implement in their spaces without having to need me there or having to, and that's where trying to figure out if it's necessarily just coaching for hairstylists or if this is something for of a salon owner that can benefit to help their team without me, and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where for me I've noticed salon owners I think more reaching out. It's been interesting because I've been talking to hairdressers, but a lot of the things that I'm seeing is the issues that are going on within the spaces are not necessarily things that the stylists themselves can fix.
Right.
It's
So you need the
really
salon owners.
it's in their leadership. And so I think that's where my message is coming across more as to not just hairdressers, but leadership and how to create an environment like that for their team. And so I think I have been getting these like, downloads. I think that
Hmm.
that's the direction I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah, yeah. Good hits.
Yeah.
It feels like as you were talking, I got this vision of what's that boy? What's that guy's name? Gordon Ramsay.
Oh yeah.
I got that vision of that, like
Yeah.
for hairdressers, for
Yeah.
salons.
Oh my gosh,
So
stop it.
I was like, yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
tell her that.
Yep.
But that was what I
That's
saw. That's why I was smiling. I was like, wow, that's gonna be amazing.
It's funny you say that because so my husband's obsessed with Gordon Ramsay, right? And yeah, he is. He's obsessed with him. And so we watch him. And I remember sitting on the couch looking at him and I was like, that's what I want to do. And he's like, what? Cooking. And I was like, no, I want to be the Gordon Ramsay of hair. So I've said that. And the fact that this is so weird. So the fact that you said that was like,
My spirit does.
wow, that's weird.
Because it was like you were talking, and I was like, she's the Gordon Ramsay of it.
Yeah. Just
Because
oh
I
my
because I
gosh.
remember I watched one of his shows, and Lord, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yeah, he had snatched some stuff,
Maybe less screaming, coming from a trauma-informed place. Maybe I won't scream,
No, no
but
screaming, but but
yeah,
shifting,
yeah. Just being able
because he
to
does shift.
yeah, I know, yeah. He's great though in that way, but he's whew, yeah, but I think it's essentially yeah, that's what I've always said. I wanted to be the Gordon Ramsay of the industry and I want to go help people and I want to build up like really, really great leaders and people and like that's what I
See, but
want to do.
see, if you think about it, that is also shining the light. That's shining the light and being the light because you because you think about it, hairdressers affect lots of people. You go get your hair done. For me, I can't get my hair done with somebody with bad energy.
Yep.
I'm not doing it.
Mm-mm.
I can't do it. I feel the energy and I'm like,
Yep.
get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Because this is not, you can't put that shit on me. No. I got my
Nope.
own shit I'm dealing with. I don't
They're gonna
need
put that
yours.
energy in your hair and it's gonna go with
Yeah,
you. Nope.
exactly. I was like, no, no. I tell people that I'm like, you got to be, mindful of who you let touch you, even like
Yes.
masseuses and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, no, take that bad energy, go somewhere.
It's funny you say that because that's a lot of what's talked about, but in like the reverse side, like effect. Being a hairdresser and then what kind of energy do you want in your chair? I am huge about that.
Yeah,
So it goes both ways, and that's where I talk to a lot of people about, it's a lot of the, if you're in the industry and you're listening, or even if you're not, but I don't really think that blaming your clients is the reason why you're not, like I think a lot of the things that we jump to is, oh, it's my clientele. I need to change my clientele or, whatever that is. It's like that's the biggest thing is niching down in the industry. And that they're the biggest thing that I see it missing is the energy connection of I made sure behind the chair that I had was matching energy with the people in my chair. Because if that's your nervous system attunement. That's where
yeah,
all that work comes in.
yeah,
Because your nervous system is if you're not regulated, you're going to you're not able to attune to the nervous system all in the environment and you won't be able to co-regulate. So you have to be regulated yourself to be able to co-regulate. And that's where that's really big. But I think being able to co-regulate with your hairdresser or with your clients, that's huge in
yeah,
client retention. So we talk about like especially like well in business, people are like, well, my client retention sucks, right? I need to just do this. It must be this. It must be this. And I'm like, no, it's the connection.
yeah,
It's the human connection. That's
yes.
what's missing. It's not any of that other stuff, I
It's the
promise.
are you seeing them? Are they seeing you?
Yeah.
It's that,
Mhm.
and it's really that simple.
It is. It
you
really
know,
is. Yeah.
people try to complicate it and go all deep on it, but it really is that simple.
It
It's like,
is.
am I seeing you? Or are you seeing me? And
Exactly.
are we seeing each other?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
once we get to that place, it's like, wow,
It
oh my
feels
God,
amazing. It feels
it
amazing
does.
because even though I'm not behind the chair, and I love hair, and I have even my loyal clients who have been waiting for me to hopefully get back behind the chair again. I'm like, and but it's that's that part of you that's like, I want to do what's for me though now. And I think that every person, no matter what job you have or industry you're in, you deserve to have that same feeling and know what that feels like
Yeah.
and just because you love something doesn't mean it's good for you. Because woo.
That's like food. Like I love steak, but I should not be eating that shit.
Like in the sense, like, it's, I don't know. I loved hair so much that I made it my entire life, but it was super toxic for me in so many ways that I had to like take a break. So it's like it's just about harmony. Are we listening to the people around us? Are we really listening to our clients? And are we just being, a lot of the culture in the industry is firing your clients? That's a huge it's a huge issue right now.
I actually have heard of that. I think I saw a TikTok on that.
Fire your clients. That is what people are saying to do. If you don't like your clientele, fire them, and just, you don't like your this, do, and it means you're just kicking people out of your chair left and right because you want yourself to be the center of the universe. That's bottom line is what you're doing.
Well, it's ego driven.
It is so ego driven.
Hmm.
And I went about that, but in a different way. It wasn't about firing clients. It was just about who am I attracting? Because if I'm attracting the right people, I won't need to fire anybody.
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest thing is how do we attract? What are we attracting? And that
Yeah.
all has to do with, like you said, like that shining your light. It
Yeah.
all ties
It's like
together.
as soon as
Yeah.
you start, and the thing is what I'm finding is that, the more I get out of my own way,
Hmm.
the better it is for me because it's like I'm in my own way. I stopped myself from doing whatever, or, I dealt with this level of self-sabotage or whatever because, I didn't see it or I didn't see it growing as quick as I thought or whatever. But
Yep.
once I got out of my own way and I began to really, focus on number one, having fun,
Yeah. Have fun.
having fun, just like enjoying because, people do things for 50 years in their life that they didn't fucking enjoy.
Yep. That's
You
terrible.
know,
I,
you talk
I
to them and they're like 75 years old and they did some shit for 50 years they didn't even enjoy doing.
that breaks my heart. I told myself
Mine too.
terrible.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, where do we, how do we get off this hamster wheel?
Yeah.
And so the work you're doing is huge.
Oh,
And
and thank
I'm
you.
just, yeah, girl, it's like amazing. Every time I see, you know, that part of it, the trauma informed, because I know that people need that. Because if you look around, you can see people's traumas. You can
Hmm.
almost just look at them and see,
Yep.
you know that they've been through a hell of a lot. You might not know exactly what they went through, but you know that they have, they've been through some shit, and it's like, wow, wow. And
Yeah.
then for you being able to affect that and help them to move and transmute that and help them to be the hairdressers that they see themselves, because that's really what it is. I think, because I think that in whatever you do, you see yourself as this huge person, or that I'm able to transform not only hair but lives,
Yeah.
because you do. I mean,
You
if
do.
you talk to your hairdresser, I mean, I know when I used to go regularly, my hairdresser was a good friend. We talked about everything.
Yep. I have a
I
lot
talked,
better.
she talked, and I think it's amazing and it's a beautiful experience, but I think that a lot of times, what happens in that too is a lot of people that do hair are very empathic. And so it starts draining on them.
Yeah, and
They
that's a
start
huge
getting
part of
drained.
it. Is. It was so draining for so long. And it's interesting because a lot of people, I've been asked, well, how many clients have you had to fire? Like, being successful or whatever. And I was like, in 5 years, two people. That's it. And that's truly because it like needed to happen. It was
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
policies were being broken, whatever.
Yeah. It was necessary.
And it's like, oh, but I'm like, no, like I never, I didn't want to attract anyone that I would have to fire.
Right.
And I think that that's the biggest part though in connecting with your hairdressers too, is that knowing that if they are a lot of artists, a lot of creatives are doing hair because they like being creative, and we are naturally empathetic people from, I believe,
Yeah,
artistic people are. And
absolutely.
because we can feel things from something visual, it's such a different connection. And
Yes.
so I think being able to just, I don't know, like just connect in that way to me is the most important thing. But then also having to, you have to know how to use your energy. I never knew how to use my energy. I would just absorb everything, just sucked it right in. It was like I was a magnet to everybody's
Yes.
energy.
Hmm.
Felt like just this like endless abyss. And
Yeah.
it for me was I would get into my car and I remember every single day, and this is so common, I see this happening everywhere, but you would get into your car, after your day of work, and you ever just sit in your car, just like blank stare, and you're just like, holy cow, like I can't even process today.
Yeah.
It's because that energy that you're not really even sure how to, your body, you got to make sure that you protect your energy just as much as, you want to absorb it. But I always absorbed it. I was an absorber. I just thought that was a personality trait. I was like, that's just me, I guess. I
I
don't know.
did too. I mean, I
Mhm.
was absorbing like people's fucking depression and anxiety and shit.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
was like, mm-mm, this is not mine,
Mhm.
all that. And because I used to tell people, I said, when I went to work, I felt like they just took a straw,
Yep.
stuck it in me, and just
Yep.
started sucking. That's
Yep.
how I felt. And when I would leave, I feel like I'm just gonna fucking die.
Yep. No, for
Sometimes I would just sit in the car before I even started going. I'm just sitting there and not a crier, but occasionally I would just start crying. No, why?
yep.
Just because, you know, I was leaking energy because they were fucking sucking it.
Yep. That's a lot of it. It's like I think allowing yourself to, that's what the embodiment process is all about, is because when you're allowing everyone to suck the energy out or you're absorbing so much in, it's a complete, you're basically operating just completely disembodied,
Yeah,
not embodied at all.
yeah,
It's everything's cognitive, and cognition hijacks the human experience.
right.
That's what happens. And that's when a lot of the times if we're, at work or with people who just seem to just suck the life out of you, and it's not necessarily an external thing taking from you. It's more of like I feel, your unconscious kind of things being deregulated with your nervous system to the point where you're kind of
Yeah,
giving it out away.
yeah,
I think that there are energy suckers out there, but I'm like, there's no way every person I come across is an energy sucker. Like, what is
right.
happening?
Yeah.
Like, am I letting people do this to me? Am
Well,
I,
we get used to that
yeah. And
because
then you're
it's
like,
it's how we've lived,
yeah,
and you don't know any different, and so
mm,
you do these things, and it's like,
yeah,
no, this has got to shift.
yeah,
This has to change, and I have to do something different. And the fact that you're doing this work to help people with that, because I know that just the conversation that we're having, many people have had this conversation or want to.
yep.
So we're going to wrap it up here. Share with the people how they can connect with you, the best places to connect, and if you have anything, any specials or anything going on that you want to share.
All right.
Mhm.
So on Instagram, definitely connect with me there. I'm on there a lot. Um, it's the handle is at I am Destiny Firestack. So just look up I am Destiny Firestack and you will find me. And on there, the link in my bio has my website. You guys can go look through, learn about me more, kind of peek through in just more detail on how, I can help you if see if we're a good fit for anything, because I offer one-on-one private work and different forms. And then also I do free workshops every 2 weeks. The next one, if this airs after, but every 2 weeks you'll know. But the next one is on February 5th. They're always on Sundays. And it's called Elevated Embodiment, and this is where I really take the time to educate you and teach you and help you with the tools that you need. And it's an hour-long workshop, and you'll get the free handbook if you come to it. If you can't,
Is it in person or is it online?
oh, it's virtual. It's a
Oh,
virtual online workshop, and then you can just
awesome.
register at the website at my link in my bio. It's right on the
Awesome.
front
Awesome.
page. Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you miss the free workshops, that's okay, because you can actually purchase the replays and get the slides in the handbook that way. So those are also available. But yeah, and so reach out to me on Instagram there. And then yeah, you can shoot me a DM, anything. I'm an open book, open to tell me anything you want. I have, people come to me with these crazy stories, and it's trust nothing I haven't heard. So it's a safe space when you come to me, and it's a zero judgment zone. So
I can see that. That's awesome. This has been a most amazing
thank you.
conversation. As a matter of fact, we had two of them. And so
We did.
I think that one is gonna be okay. And I'm gonna do something with it. I'll see
Cool.
how long it is. I'm not sure how long it was, but we'll see how long it is and we'll do something with both of them because I mean it was good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
And
great
we kind
stuff.
of actually
Yeah.
talked about different things,
We did. We kind of went on different, yeah, but
which
I
is
think
good. So
it's
yeah,
good.
so it's gonna be good. So we are so excited that you joined us. And if you are listening on any of the podcast places where you can find it, it's on Apple, it's on Google, it's on Spotify and Anchor, it's on Listen Now and Radio Breaker, it's on Podbean, it's some other places that I don't remember, but it's all over iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. So anywhere that you listen to your podcast, you can hear this. And I am super excited to bring this to you because she is a fire stack for sure.
Oh, thank you so much.
So it's been amazing, and I've enjoyed this conversation so much. But make sure that you follow her. The link will be also in the show notes. So you'll be able to find how you can connect with her there as well. And her bio is also there. So you can actually see her. I'll be posting these on Facebook and LinkedIn and probably YouTube, all the places. So you'll be able to actually catch it then. But I'm so grateful that you've joined me. It's been so amazing. And I've loved this conversation. And
I
I'm
have
loving the
too.
connection.
I have too. I'm so happy I met you, because I know this is not the last time I'm going to talk to you.
Right,
You're
exactly.
stuck with me now.
Exactly. I got you. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Bye.